Hello, welcome back. Happy Friday. I love Fridays because I get to hang out with you, think about things that are real adulting problems that we're all dealing with. And this week, the one that we're going to unpack a little bit and cover is self worth. Where is our self worth coming from? I was having a conversation with a friend of mine this week, and she has an 8-year-old kid, and she was talking about how sensitive her 8-year-old is, and she's a people pleaser, and especially with her family. And the moment she realizes that her mom is not happy with her, she has a meltdown. She really can't take it, and she'll cry and she'll apologize and ask her at the end of it, do you still love me? She's a kid make mistakes, kids act naughty, kids do things that sometimes parents are not happy about, but she is so sensitive to her mom being upset with her that every time that happens, she feels like if she's done something her mom or her dad don't like, they will stop loving her. And we were having a huge conversation about this because the mother's a little bit worried because she is so, her self-worth in some ways is coming in from what her mom and her dad think about it. And we were having a conversation to see how can we help her so that she doesn't feel like every time she makes a mistake, people will not love her. And that made me think about self-worth. As kids, we start developing this concept of self-worth. Are we worthy of being on the planet? Are we worthy of being loved? Actually, it comes down to, do we think we're worthy of being loved? And though it develops as a kid, it shows up much more as an adult. And there are so many things that we do as an adult without even realizing where the driver is. And the driver is coming from this need to be loved, either by ourselves or by others or both, because we do not think just being the way we are is enough for people to like us, love us, respect us, want us, whatever it might be. So today we're going to go a little bit deeper on this big topic of self-worth. Let's see how far we can go in the next few minutes. I was thinking about this and feeling for myself and from people that I've seen around as to what might drive our self-worth. And I remember as a kid, my mom used to be a teacher, and she was very keen that we do really well in school. And rightly so, she wanted us to learn, do really well. But as a kid, the way I interpreted it is, if I don't do well in school or in life, I will not be loved. And guess what happens when as a kid you've kind of linked self-worth to achievement? The next few decades of my life was all about achievement. I was on a rampage. I was going to conquer the world. And that to me would prove that I was worthy of being loved by my family and by people around. Until there was an incident that happened where at a critical point in my studies, I was, there was some illness that happened and the doctors couldn't quite diagnose what was happening with me. And it was a very critical year. And it was a make or break in terms of, which direction I might go in. And for the first time, my mom didn't really care about how I did or did not do. All she cared about was me being fine. And luckily for me, that helped me realize that it does not have anything to do with my achievement. And she would love me no matter what. But so many of us believe that if we achieve, and it could be anything, any badge, name it, right? It could be the best education, the best college, fame, money, power, status, I'm the CEO of a company, or I'm an SVP, or I am so-and-so person and everybody knows me. We link our self-worth to achievement. And guess what happens when achievement doesn't happen? It shakes us, it rattles us. So just see if your self-worth is coming from achievement. That's number one. The second one it can come from is qualities. We think, oh, I'm so beautiful, and your self-worth is coming from there, or I am so intelligent, or I'm a good human being. Name the quality, or a talent, right? I'm a great singer, or I'm a great orator, or I'm a great painter, I'm a great cook, whatever. Some talent or quality. And that is where your self-worth has got linked. You know, it's amazing. This week, I don't know if you guys have been following, but Khloe Kardashian has been having quite a tough week. And it comes back with her self-worth, and she said it in so many words, is linked with how she looks, body image. And when a picture of hers in a bikini was posted where she does not feel represents her body appropriately, she's having a really tough time. She wants to remove it. She's gone out and talked about how tough it is because self-worth has been linked to how we look. So again, is our self-worth linked to our talents or our qualities? And what happens if we find somebody who's a little bit more talented? Okay, we're a great singer. And now you find somebody who is a better singer than you. What happens to our self-worth? Again, we get completely rattled. Right? So it can come from achievement, it can come from qualities and talents that we think are ours. Also recognize that where do these talents come from? Okay, you're really great looking. Was it any of your doing? You have a great voice. It's a gift. And to get our self-worth entangled with a gift is not the smartest idea. The third one, which a lot of us have, is what people will think of us. We don't have an isolated understanding of our own worth, right? We see ourselves through the lens of somebody else. You know, I know of a friend of mine, and she judges herself. She's very tuned into what people think of her, very tuned in. In a room, she can tell you exactly what somebody's thinking of her, and she's known that as a kid. And if she feels like people are thinking highly of her, she feels good about herself and she feels she's worthy. But the moment people don't think she is good or intelligent or whatever else, her self-worth takes a spiral. Her self-worth is being reflected through the eyes of somebody else. And so many of us are like that. We think what other people think of us is the truth. And when they don't think good things of us, it really bothers us because we believe that perception. We believe that thought. But are people's perceptions of us always right? Do they know us? Maybe, maybe not. And does it matter what they think of us? Doesn't really. Because their opinions are changing constantly. And if our self-worth is linked to what other people think, there are 7.5 billion people on the planet. Can you imagine what's happening to your perception of self and worth? You're never, ever on stable ground. You're constantly being tossed around. So that was number 3. The fourth one, which I think I recognize in myself, is I judge my worth and self based on the thoughts that I have, not even the things that I act on. You know, if I have a thought that is not complimentary about somebody, I judge myself and say, you know, Ruchika, you're not a good human being. How could a thought like that come in your head? And it's fascinating because I have no control over my thoughts. My thoughts just come to me. It could be because I might be stressed at a moment, I might have eaten something, I might have interacted with somebody that have kind of, you know, there's exchange of energy. And yet, so much of my self-worth is being driven by thoughts that enter my head that I don't have any control over. I recognize the thought once it comes. I don't invite it, I don't push it, but I judge my own self-worth and worthy of being loved based on the thoughts that I have. You know, all of these 4 drivers, and there might be others, so if there are, please let me know. These are the 4 I could think of based on your accomplishments, the badges, the achievements, or if you think about, you know, your qualities and talents, or if you think about even what other people think of you or the thoughts that you have, all of them we have zero control over. And they're not of our doing. And yet we are basing our self-worth on that. We're basing whether we're worthy of being loved, respected, liked on the planet on that. Is that smart? Is there a way that we can base our worth on none of these, on something that is not changing? Maybe it's just a recognition that us being alive is enough. Us being who we are is enough. We don't need to chase. We don't need to accomplish. We don't need to please. We don't need to accumulate the badges to be worthy of being loved. We have everything, and it's a matter of whether people recognize it or not, and more importantly, it's a matter of whether we recognize it or not, that what we have is enough. Sri Sri Ravi Shankar said this beautifully a couple of weeks back. He said our biggest problem is we don't think we are lovely, and we don't think we are loved. And the moment we realize we are lovely and we are loved, a lot of the gymnastics we go through, the way we show up, the things that we do will come from a place of fullness, will not come from a place of lack. Because looking to get self-worth from any of these buckets is coming from a place of lack. And that impacts our interactions, that impacts how we show up on the planet. There's a beautiful poem again that I want to read out to you today. And it's one of the ones that I go to again and again because it's a reminder to me that just me being on the planet is enough. And it's a poem by, again, Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, and it's called The Master's Piece. I'm just going to read one paragraph and see whether that resonates with you. What water can do, gasoline cannot, and what copper can, gold cannot. The fragility of an ant enables it to move, and the rigidity of a tree enables it to stay rooted. Everything and everyone has been designed with a proportion of uniqueness to serve a purpose that we can fulfill only by being our unique self. You, as you alone, can serve your purpose as I alone can serve my purpose. So if we can just flip looking for self-worth to recognizing that we're here on the planet for a purpose, we have been built with amazing amount of uniqueness, and that itself is enough. We might change the way we show up, and we might change our relationship with ourselves. So with that, I'm going to open up and see if there are any questions that you have or any thoughts that you have about self-worth. I see a few people here. It's so good to have you. Any questions? I know it takes a couple of minutes for people to start typing in if there are any questions. So as people type questions, maybe think about where are you entangled with self-worth? What of these 4 or maybe other buckets are you deriving your self-worth from? It could be 1, it could be 2, it could be all 4, right? And see if in this week, as you start getting entangled, just pull back and remember that you are enough, that you are unique, that you are beautiful, and you are loved just the way you are. Okay, I'm seeing hellos and hearts, but I'm not really seeing any questions. So if there are any questions, this might be a good time. Otherwise, I will, Sham has a question, and the question is, can you summarize the 4? Yes, Sham. The 4 are accomplishments, achievements, badges that we accumulate, fame, money, titles, all of that, right? So first one is accomplishments or achievements. Second is qualities or talents that we have. Oh, I've got such a great voice, or, I am so intelligent, or I am such a good human being. So that's the second one. The third one is how other people perceive us, right? If they think highly, then we feel good about ourselves and we think we're worthy. And if they don't think, then we think we're not worthy. And then the last one is just the thoughts that we have, right? If there are good thoughts, we think we're great people and worthy of being loved. If they're not such great thoughts, then maybe not so much. So those are the 4 ones. Great question. Bryn, belated happy birthday. I hope you had a great birthday yesterday. And I'm so glad that you could join us today. And what did you miss? We're talking about self-worth, and I'm sure there are thoughts that you have. So we're talking about the 4 different drivers of self-worth. And if we can actually recognize that we don't need to look for self-worth and that we are worthy. So that's what we talked about today. Self-worth changes from time to time. Why does that happen? Such a great question. Self-worth changes because we have hooked our self-worth to things that are changing, which is external things, what people think, what we think about ourselves in terms of our thoughts in this case, our achievements, our accomplishments, maybe some amount of maturity. But the moment we can hook it to that part of us that is unchanging, that is who we are, and that we are beautiful and we have all the qualities, it will not change. Bryn says her birthday was amazing. We're wishing that the whole year stays amazing for you, Bryn. So that's awesome. Okay, so if there are no other questions, then something for you to ponder about this week as you're getting entangled. And you can send us notes and comments as to how it worked out for you. And I'll see you again next Friday. See you. Enjoy the weekend. Bye.